Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we unpack the financial secrets of public companies. Today we're diving into Enveric Biosciences, digging through their latest report to see what's really going on beneath the surface. It looks like they're sharing some new presentation materials, so let's see what management wants investors to see. Before we start, if you appreciate getting straight insights from corporate documents, make sure you're subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below, so come join the conversation there. We're looking at an 8K filing from Enveric Biosciences. Think of an 8K as a super important news alert from a company. It's used to announce major events that shareholders should know about right away. In this case, it seems like the big news is about some investor presentation materials they're putting out. The date on this report is August 29, 2025. This tells us when the information we're about to discuss was officially released or became known to the public. The earliest event reported is also on this date, which usually means the announcement itself is the key event. The company we're focusing on is Enveric Biosciences Inc. They're involved in biosciences, that's a pretty broad field, but it usually means they're doing research and development, likely in areas like medicine or biotechnology. We see here that Enveric Biosciences is incorporated in Delaware. This is pretty common for many US companies. Most significant companies choose Delaware because its corporate laws are seen as business friendly and well established. This number 001388286 is their commission file number. It's an identifier assigned by the Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, to track their filings. It's like their unique ID in the world of corporate reporting. And this number, 9544844725, is their IRS employer identification number. This is essentially their tax ID number, crucial for all their financial dealings with the government. Okay, so now we know who the company is and where it's based. The filing mentions their principal executive offices are in Naples, Florida, and their phone number is listed, but honestly for us the really interesting stuff isn't where they are, but what they're doing and how they're doing financially. The company has common stock registered and its trading symbol is ENVB. This means you can buy and sell shares of Enveric Biosciences on an exchange, and those shares are traded on the Nasdaq stock market. Nasdaq is a major stock exchange known for listing many technology and growth-oriented companies. So seeing NRVB gives us a hint about their market positioning. There are a few checkboxes here that companies tick if this filing is also serving another purpose, like sharing communications related to sales or making announcements before a big financial event. Reading through these, it doesn't seem like Enveric is using this particular filing for any of those special purposes. They're just telling us about something new. The filing also asks if Enveric Biosciences is what's called an emerging growth company. This is basically a designation for newer companies that can take advantage of certain relaxed reporting rules. They've indicated they are not, or at least haven't checked the box to be treated as one for the purpose of this filing. And they also haven't opted to use extended transition periods for accounting standards, meaning they're keeping up with the latest financial reporting rules. Now we get to the heart of this particular 8K filing marked as Item 701, which deals with Regulation FD or Fair Disclosure. This rule is all about making sure that when a company shares important information, they do it with everyone at the same time, not just a select few. So what's the big disclosure? Enveric Biosciences has put together what they call an investor presentation. Management plans to put this out on their website around August 29, 2025. The company says they might use this presentation and be with some tweaks when talking to investors, potential investors, analysts, lenders, business partners, and anyone else interested in Enveric and its business. It's essentially a way for them to communicate their story and update everyone on their progress and plans. This is important. They're not just chatting about the presentation, they're actually including it with this filing. It's listed as Exhibit 99.1 and they're incorporating it by reference, meaning it's officially part of this report. So they're treating this presentation as material information for us to consider. However, they do add a little legal disclaimer. Any materials that are simply on their website, even if related, are not automatically considered part of this official filing. So while they're saying the presentation is available on their website, it's the version attached to this filing that's officially recognized for compliance. This part is a bit technical, but it's the company covering its legal basis. They're saying that because this presentation is being furnished under a specific rule for providing information, it's not being filed in the same way that other reports are, which means they're not going to be held liable under certain sections of securities laws for this specific furnishing. It also means that this information won't automatically be considered part of their other filings, like registration statements, unless they specifically say so. It's a way to share information without buffeting themselves to the exact same level of legal scrutiny as, say, their audited financial statements. This next section, item 9.01, is where they list all the exhibits attached to the report. Here we see the list of exhibits. Exhibit 99.1 is the investor presentation for Q3 2025. This is exactly what we've been talking about. They're furnishing it as part of this report as allowed under item 7.1. Then there's Exhibit 104, which is the cover page interactive data file. This is likely an inline XBRL document, which is a format that makes financial data more machine readable and easier for investors and analysts to process and search. Think of it as a more structured digital version of the report itself. Finally, we see the signatures. This is where the company officially signs off on the report. Joseph Tucker, who holds the title of Chief Executive Officer, has signed this report. This signifies that the company's top leadership is aware of and stands behind the information being presented, including the details about their investor presentation. Now let's think about what this filing really means. Enveric Biosciences is essentially using this 8K to announce that they have an investor presentation coming out. They're not giving us the actual financial numbers or deep strategy details in this filing itself. Instead, they are pointing us to an exhibit, the presentation, which is supposed to contain those important details. They're telling the market, hey, we've got something new to show you about how we're doing and where we're going. Typically, these investor presentations are designed to put the company's best foot forward. They often highlight achievements, growth strategies, market opportunities, and a generally positive outlook. They might touch on key financial metrics, but usually in a way that tells a story rather than just stating raw numbers that might need more context. If this presentation discusses financials, we'd usually see things like revenue growth, profit margins, cash flow, and any changes in their financial position. They might explain what's driving any positive numbers and how they plan to address any challenges. For Enveric Biosciences, as a biosciences company, the story is often about their research pipeline, clinical trial progress, and potential for bringing new therapies to market. These are highly complex fields with significant risks, but also potentially huge rewards if successful. Investors typically look for evidence of strong scientific backing, experienced management, and a clear path to commercialization. What's notable here is that they're providing this investor presentation as part of an 8K. This signals that they consider the information in that presentation material enough to warrant official disclosure beyond just posting it on their website. It means they want to ensure everyone gets the same information simultaneously. However, without seeing the actual content of Exhibit 99.1, it's hard to provide a deep financial analysis or comment on specific numbers. This filing primarily serves as a notification that an update is forthcoming in the form of a separately provided presentation. It's like getting a heads up that a new report card is coming soon but not getting to see it yet. From a broader perspective, companies like Enveric Biosciences operate in a very dynamic and often volatile sector. Success often hinges on scientific breakthroughs, regulatory approvals, and effective strategy execution. Investors need to be aware of the inherent risks, including the possibility that research projects may not yield the desired results. Clinical trials may fail or competition may be intense. So while this 8K doesn't give us the nitty-gritty financial details directly, it tells us where to find them in that investor presentation. The fact that they're presenting it formally suggests they're confident in the story they have to tell right now. We'll have to wait for that presentation to see if their financials and future plans are as promising as they want investors to believe. Now, looking at this filing generally, Enveric Biosciences is signaling a moment of communication with its stakeholders. They are providing an update through a presentation, which is a common practice to share progress and vision. The filing itself is more of a procedural step to ensure that communication is handled properly under regulatory rules, especially Regulation FD, preventing any selective disclosure of potentially market-moving information. Without the actual presentation, it's hard to gauge the specifics of their financial health or strategic advancements. However, companies typically use investor presentations to highlight growth prospects, recent successes, and future outlook. So if this is a positive presentation, it might boost investor confidence. Conversely, if it reveals challenges or concerns, it could have the opposite effect. Alright, that's our breakdown of Enveric Biosciences' latest filing. What's your take on this announcement and what it might mean for the company? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching, see you next time.